we need to adopt this top-down mindset. So Steve, going back to what you said, the C-suite, the board is getting involved. We need to look at it from not the firewall, the access point, the device, but really from how it impacts the business and really understanding the value proposition of our business. Not everything that we do is of equal weight and equal value to the organization.
Yep.
In some cases, it may be revenue that we're focusing on. Sometimes it may be delivery of services that are the most critical that we have to have. Whatever the mission is, we have to isolate those and understand that. Today, we look at a lot of those things in one big bucket, right? We don't kind of disaggregate it. We kind of look at it as all revenue is good or all services we provide are good, but we really got to understand that. And I think the second thing is that once we understand that, it really becomes mapping that flow, and I refer to it as follow the money or follow the value. I think you described that very well. We had talked yesterday a little bit about this kind of concept of, when we think about security, a lot of times we put the broad things in, we put the firewall in, we put the antivirus software in, we put, whatever in, it's broad, it goes across the entire organization. And what we're talking about is becoming almost more surgical, right?
Yeah. And I think it's, we always come back, everybody understands the sports analogy, right? And I think from a cyber perspective, we've all been playing defense, right? We're getting better at defense. And listen, we still have some gaps. We don't have the number one defense, but, what we're talking about here is, shifting to more of an offensive strategy, right? You can have the best defense, you're still not going to win the game because you didn't score any points.
That's right.
Right. So how do we put points on the board, right, to support our defense? It's really what we're talking about here. And that's taking to your point, a more top-down mindset than a bottom-up.
Yeah, I love that. And the last area that I think we want to just kind of point on is that we have to change the culture of the organization, right? It's not just about training people on how to recognize a phishing attack anymore. Most organizations, when we look at it, when you think about cybersecurity or business resiliency or those kind of things, it really comes down to the individual efforts of one team, one department, or even one person in some organizations, that they're in these moments that we're challenged, whether we're compromised, we're having an event condition that doesn't make us where we need to be. There's one person that rises up and, and helps gets us through that, right? It's the, that, or one team that makes it happen. And, one of the things that we talked about yesterday, I thought was, really interesting. I have a friend of mine that wrote a book. It was called Hero Unaware. And the book starts talking about this individual that passes away. They're at the reception after the funeral. And a couple of people, 7 people, come up to the family and give them a card, say, you don't know us, but we knew your husband. We worked with him a lot. And I just wanted to give you some thoughts about your husband. So they give the family these letters. Then over the next 7 days, the family opens up these letters. And what ends up happening is that they find that there's so much more to their husband than they actually knew and the impact he was having on others' lives. I think what we want to do in our organization is create this culture of heroes that are unaware. Get it to where every employee is thinking about cybersecurity and how to protect the assets of the organization. They're thinking about resiliency. They're thinking from a top-down approach. They're looking at the most valuable components of the business and driving that.
Yep.
That's really the way for us to win this game, is to get all facets of the organization doing this, not just 1 or 2 people acting as a hero.
Yeah. And that hero thing, it's funny because as leaders, sometimes we tend to reward that mentality, right?
Yes.
We have somebody in the organization, to take from an IT perspective, right? We engage with clients all the time that have this IT guy that's just awesome, right? The guy is there all the time. He's very responsive whenever we need him, right? He's very accommodating. And if I got an issue, listen, everybody calls him because he just saves the day, right? And then all of a sudden, hey, Monday comes around and guess what? He's not here anymore, right? And he didn't document anything, and he didn't, right? But the point is that we tend to reward that hero mentality versus trying to get the entire organization to buy into a culture of everybody's a hero, right? Everybody has to focus on resiliency and being a hero for the company and doing the right things and understanding the impacts that they have every single day on the company.
That's awesome. Yeah.